Hello and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Everything I will discuss in this video is alleged and, in my very own opinion, used for entertainment purposes only. And before we get started, can I get a one in the chat if you can hear me? Please put a one in the chat so that I know that you can hear me before I get started. Okay, thanks for that, Mama Bees. And thank you so much for being here, sis. So, guys, we had a conversation, I believe it was on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, and we talked about um WAGS Miami. Okay. So that's WAGS to which is Miami, rich is Miami. And we decided that we were going to cover it on this channel. Hey, Q Catrice, thank you so much for being here. So, Q Catrice, have you been able to watch the show? I know Mama Bees has finished watching the show. So, I'm just curious to know, have you watched the show and where are you at with the show? So, since I'm doing this on my lunch break, this is not going to be a very long live. And since this is my very first episode talking about this show, I didn't want to make it too long for that reason as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And this is season one, episode one. Okay. Okay. So Q Catrice said that she did finish the whole season. Okay, great. So you guys will be able to give me some good feedback since you have already watched it. So in the first scene, they were at the Miami Beach Golf Club, and it was Sherelle and Ocho, and they were going to be joined by Portia and her husband. But in this first scene, Sherelle was definitely doing a little too much. All that bending over, backing up on Ocho, you know, and then accidentally hitting him twice. I could see if she accidentally hit him one time, but twice, it was just like she was doing a little bit too much. I get it. This is episode one. You're trying to make your grand entrance, but she was really doing a little bit too much. And then in her green screen, she was acting like a stan, talking about how long she's been, a fan of Ocho Cinco and how she used to wear his jerseys and things like that, you know. And, she was just kind of coming off as a Evelyn Lozada 2.0, in my opinion. Okay. So when I met Portia, I thought Portia might be cool, as long as she's not kissing up to Sherelle, because a lot of these ladies, it seems like they feel like Sherelle is that it girl. She's very well connected. So a lot of these girls are just trying to get on Team Sherelle, basically. They're trying to be in Sherelle's clique so they can get to the bag, you know what I'm saying, and have all of this notoriety. Okay. So, in scene two, it was with Miranda and her two kids, and they were at the jewelry store. And that whole scene, and Q Catrice says that I agree. And that whole scene at the jewelry store with the kids, it was kind of, it was a little too busy for me. And quite frankly, it was kind of ghetto fabulous. I know that we like to, put jewelry on our kids, and that is totally fine, as long as it's within reason for their age. If it's a very small child, you want something very small, very petite. You don't want them out here looking like, a rapper as a newborn. You know what I'm saying? So, that whole scene was a little ghetto fabulous for me because that big behind chain on what looks to be a newborn baby, that really wasn't given. Okay. The kids are cute, you know. No denying that. She has two cute kids, but she was definitely doing a little too much. Hey Cece. Hey sis, thank you so much for being here. So, in the next scene, Stony meets up with Alexis. And let me just go ahead and put this out there. Alexis is so far my fave. Love her personality. She stands up and protects the underdog, and she's just an overall good person from what I've seen so far. Hey Aries girl, thank you so much for being here. Aries girl, how much of the show were you able to watch this weekend? Oh, and Mama B's, I'm sorry I skipped your comment. Mama B says she is a mean girl. Portia is up Sherelle's behind. Yeah, that's what, I'm kind of like getting to. But guys, just to be fair, I didn't want to go too far ahead because I want to stay focused. And since this is a new show I'm covering, I don't believe that I'm going to be, doing multiple um episodes at one time. That might change if I get a little bored. That might change, but for right now, I'm going to do one episode at a time. And Mama Beast also said, ridiculous. Why would anyone spend that kind of money on a baby? Need to put that money away for his education. Exactly. Like that scene with the baby, like really took me out. Like, girl, I know you're not going to spend that kind of money on a baby. And then with the state of your relationship, I mean, if anything, you need to be getting that money, putting it back. One thing I did learn from Sharni O'Neal, honey, when you got a man that's very successful, bringing in a lot of money, and he's a cheater, baby, you need to be stacking that money up on the side. You need to have accounts that he doesn't know anything about. So instead of out here trying to be fly, buying jewelry for the baby, honey, you need to be stacking them dollars and putting it in an account because you already know this relationship is not going to last and you want to be okay. You know what I'm saying? If you and the kids have to move on without this man. Okay. And Q Catrice said, Miranda definitely doesn't fit in with the other girls, but she's very relatable. Exactly. And I like the fact that, she's pretty confident. So even though we can see that she doesn't necessarily fit in with this group, in her head, she does because she has a rapper, boyfriend. So obviously he's making money. So she thinks that she's on their level in her head. But we know they wouldn't do none of the stuff that she's doing. And Aries Girl says, I watched 3 episodes. I think I do not like Ocho Woman. You know what? From the very first episode, everybody was able to see that Sherelle is a mean girl. Everybody was able to pick up on that right away. And Aries Girl said, Mama B, she needs to use that money on anger management classes. Exactly. Exactly. And we're gonna get into that a little bit more, Aries girl. Okay. Hey, Sharon Gottball, thank you so much for being here, sis. And she said, you are so right. So where was I? Okay, so yes, Stony meets up with Alexis, who I was telling you guys is my favorite so far, at a restaurant slash bar. And she and Stony talked about some of the girls boxing her out and hanging out without her. So, she had been noticing that some of the girls were trying to ice her out, and just like hanging out without her and not including her. And my whole thing was like, Stony, don't ever beg to be a part of somebody's clique. You know what I'm saying? Go where you're, celebrated and not tolerated. So, in this first episode, she really is coming off a little thirsty to be down with this clique. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt some kind of way about that. And not that she doesn't deserve to be there, but whether or not she deserves to be there, like I'm not going to be begging nobody to be a part of their clique. Okay. That's just not what we fixing to do. Okay. So, and even though she seems like a decent girl, it was a little too much information when she said that she went home with Rick Ross the first night. Like talking about, she thought she was his little Kim and he was her biggie. Like, girl, like that whole statement really made you sound like a gold digger. Okay. But we're gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give Stony some grace because that was effed up, what her ex did to her. And, 50 Cent selling the S tape was very childish. And we all know that 50 Cent is very childish. So I'm going to give her, some grace, because she definitely caught a stray. And men can just be so cruel, okay? And I'm sorry, Stony, I know I'm going to make that mistake a lot, guys, because Stony and Stormy is very close. And I just want Stony to forgive herself because we all make mistakes, okay? And Aries girl says Stony was giving pick me. She was. And even how she kept saying, when you want this man to think that you love him to the soul, like, girl, you giving up too much too fast. And like, your man don't need to know all that. Like, you don't need to make your man feel like you love him to your core. Like, hold something back. Like, these men have not even married you, and you're giving them wifey benefits. So yeah, she is definitely, coming off as a pick me. I totally agree with that, Aries girl. And Q Catrice said Sherelle does not have a reason to dislike Stony. However, you can tell that Stony is there for clout and attention. Yes, that's what it's looking like. She definitely wants clout. She does have a really nice boutique, but maybe she's trying to do a little something else. But we're going to go a little bit deeper into that because the fact that let me not get ahead of myself. Mama B says, I feel sorry the way they treated Stony. Yeah, I kind of felt bad for Stony too. So in the next scene, they were at a pool party at Ashley's house, who has now come. Sherelle and Ashley are the mean girl duo. That's what I have named these two ladies, mean girl duo. Um, Sherelle and Ashley are both mean girls. Okay. And again, there is no one else that's more excited to show, their ass more than Sherelle. She showed up at the pool party, obviously shaking her ass and bending over because baby, I mean, Sherelle, it seems that Sherelle thinks she has the nicest bottom in the world, okay? Because every opportunity, she's always showing it, sticking it out, bending over, So I just had to say that. So they started chatting it up, and Portia mentions that, because they was trying to get Portia to get drunk, and she was just like, "No, I'm gonna drink a little champagne." And they were like, "Well, you don't have to drive anywhere, that's the whole point." And she was just like, "No," and they was just like, and this was the shade. "You don't have any showings coming up," and she was just like, "Not today." But actually, I do. So she was letting them know that she has a showing coming up and that Stony reached out to her to show her a house in Hibiscus Island, Miami, which apparently is supposed to be, where the money resides. Okay. So Ashley immediately started making jokes, and saying shady jokes and saying that is the proof of funds proofing, like basically saying, do you really think Stony has, enough money to be able to afford to live in that neighborhood. Basically, she was questioning Stoney's funds when obviously you guys don't know Stoney to the point to know where her funds are coming from. So they wanted to shade, Stoney about looking for a house in this particular, you know, Richie neighborhood. Okay. And when she said that, Sherelle just, I mean, she couldn't stop laughing. Like, Sherelle thought that was so funny because she loved the fact that Ashley was throwing shade at Stony because for whatever reason, Sherelle just doesn't see it for Stony. So in the next scene, Sherelle meets up with Miranda at the park. with her kids. Okay. And I will say this, I admire Miranda for making it clear that she is not going to stay with Kodak Black if he continues to cheat. But from what just came out, you know what I'm saying, later on at the end of this episode, um, that she was fighting one of the side chicks. Honestly, she needs to just walk away before she ends up ruining her life or someone getting seriously hurt, you know. And the fact that she said that, you know, she gets very depressed, she'll just stay in her bed for 3 days with two small kids, and just shut down, won't answer phone calls. Like, girl, you got a whole life. You claim to be in real estate. You claim to be a rapper. You just can't go MIA for days at a time because your boyfriend is cheating. Like, you need to resolve the situation. Like, get rid of his ass, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you don't have your own money, then you're going to be forced to be in this relationship with this cheating ass dude. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't feel like you can make it on your own. And Q Catrice said Sherelle thinks she's better than the other girls. She thinks that she is like the head bitch in charge. Okay. She really thinks that she's that girl for sure. And the meetup that Sherelle had with Miranda, I actually like that side of Sherelle, being there so that she can have, so that Miranda can have a shoulder to lean on. Cause, she seems like she would be the type to go into a deep depression and have very low self-esteem. So, Sherelle is trying to be there for her. It could have something to do because Sherelle is trying to get something out of the deal. Apparently she's working under Sherelle. So Sherelle trying to get her out there working and making that money so that she can bring it back to her so she can get her cut. So, although it might seem like she's trying to be there, as a shoulder to lean on, she's probably doing it, because she's getting something out of it. Okay. Because it benefits her. And Aries Girl said Sherelle is the worst part of Evelyn Lozada and Shani O'Neill. I can totally see that. Absolutely. And Q Catrice says, I believe MJ is struggling with postpartum and she needs to have a good support to help her emotionally and mentally. Exactly. And I totally agree, Q Catrice, which is why I said I like seeing Sherelle trying to be there for her, even though we know that it's a front, because, in all actuality, everybody says the same thing, that she's a mean girl. But again, I think she's doing that with MJ because there's something in it for her. So in the next scene, the group is coming together for Portia's cocktail hour. Girls, not Andre walking in saying he thought there would be food there. Did you guys think that was funny when Andre walked in immediately and told his wife that he thought that it was going to be food there? Hey, Rory asks, thank you so much for being here. And she says, I'm going to watch this today and see what the ladies are about. Okay, do that, Rory asks. So, and, you know, Andre comes off to me as a country boy, a good old country boy. Nothing wrong with that. But maybe she should have had some appetizers or, a pre-game before she got to this event because those ladies was looking like this is whack. Like for this guy to be walking in like where the food at. You know what I'm saying? And, those girls, I mean, he was really acting like he was starved to death. And the other girls definitely got a chuckle out of that. But I think, Portia was a little, that wasn't Portia. Was that Portia? I think I had the wrong person. Um, so moving along, Jules showed up and when Chosen got there, did y'all hear when Jules kind of screamed, you know, over somebody else's fiance being in the room when he showed up? I thought that was kind of strange that she, was screaming when Chosen walked in, and Chosen has a whole fiance, and he didn't really give her any play, any time, anything like that. So moving on, Jules shared that she was included in a group chat from Kanye West, after publicly being fired by him, but that ain't the interesting part of the story. The interesting part is Ashley came Ashley once again coming off as a mean girl and talking about Jules behind her back while she's still in the room. So, Ashley decided to jump in and tell her, well, you just need to tell him that you want your money, but you don't want to work for that type of person, But soon as Jules got up, then I want to say she was talking to Alexis or whatever the case. So she immediately started talking about Jules behind her back. So there has been several occasions where Ashley really rubbed me the wrong way. Okay. And that's why her and Sherelle are the mean girls duo. Okay. And Aries Girl says, I got so confused by that. I agree, the network specialist. Yeah, she was doing a lot. And it seems like she's always doing a lot. And let me see what it's looking like. Okay. So now, I thought it was very tacky for Sherelle to bring up the S tape and express her dislike for Stony to the other girls. Like she was trying to tarnish her image before the girls can get to know her on their own. So what did you guys think about that? The way I thought that was like the so tasteless, the tackiest thing I have ever seen. The way that they were sitting there talking about the S tape as if Stony wasn't in the room. I thought that was just so tacky. Now, um, yes, I'm gonna finish up because I want to share one other thing with you guys, but I want to finish this up. So apparently, this whole scandal happened about 10 to 11 years ago. And I'm speaking of the scandal with, Stony and the S tape. And you still want to hold this over her head. Like, I bet if Kim Kardashian wanted to hang out with Sherelle, she wouldn't have a problem with the fact that she made a sex tape. But for whatever reason, she wants to hold that over Stoney's head. And Q Catrice says, yes, they were trying to embarrass Stoney. So classless. I mean, just out with it. Like, I've never seen somebody be so disrespectful when somebody is like literally right there in the room. And Aries Girl said, Sherelle was so tacky for trying to skew everyone's opinion of Stoney. That should be Stoney's story to tell. Stoney was the victim. Exactly. But like I said, Sherelle and Ashley are already starting to irk my last nerve. And this is only, episode one. And Cucatrice is speaking. So I was happy to see Stony walk away and leave the event because some of the other ladies should have called Sherelle out for being judgy, especially since, I'm thinking that Portia is the one who invited her there because they're trying to do business together. Plus, they are in the process of doing, um, you know, s- she's in the process of selling her that home, and you don't let, a trifling ass bitch affect your coins. Okay. So I felt like Portia, if not anybody else, should have been the one to call Sherelle out on her BS. But Portia is too busy trying to kiss up to Sherelle because ultimately, um, Portia is from Tampa. So I guess she's in the process of moving to Miami so that, she can be on the team with Sherelle. And obviously, she feels like she'll do better in Miami versus Tampa. So again, I was happy that Stony chose to walk away because what you're not going to do is embarrass me in front of everybody like that. Like me, if it had been me, it probably would have turned into an altercation. Definitely, you know, a screaming match. And, I know that sounds very immature, but that was just so disgusting. Like it could not have gotten any worse, to be honest. So in the next scene, they showed Stony at her cute little boutique. And let me back up. Let me take out the word little because, sometimes when you add the word little, when you're talking about somebody's accomplishments, it takes away from their accomplishment. So Stormy has a cute boutique. Shout out to her. And she's one of the single ladies in the group. So we know that she more than likely did that all on her own. And seeing a video of Miranda getting into a fight with one of Kodak's side chicks and going to jail. Okay. So I knew things was not going to end well with um Miranda. She really needs to get away from that toxic relationship. And hopefully her getting into this, altercation with the side chick, going to jail. Hopefully, this is a wake up call for her. Sometimes, you need something drastic to happen for you to just wake up and say, this ain't it. And Aries said, it's a fun size boutique. Just kidding. Oh, God. So, guys, I have two things that I want to quickly discuss. Now, I'm going to share my screen. Um, to this I have to get to it. This post that Winter made, and I hope I'm able to let me see. Give me a second, guys. And as soon as I get there, I'll find out if you guys can see it. Give me 1 second. Okay, I got it. Okay, guys, let me know if you can see this. Okay, so I do believe that you can see this. And I want you guys to let me know what you think about this, but after I read this, there's something else I want to share because I'm not for sure. I'm trying to find out if Sherelle is black or if she's Latino. Winter Wonderland made a post and it's something to think about. She says, I'm sorry, but I feel some biracial women like Sherelle feel superior to black women, yet don't mind having babies by rich black men. Their blackness is often used when convenient, not because it's their preference. This season literally changed my view of her. Okay. And obviously, that post is about Sherelle, and mainly because she was being a mean girl to Stony. Okay. So let me go ahead and stop sharing this. Okay, stop sharing. There we go. And Q Catrice says, I absolutely agree with Winter's comment. I do too. But let me share this, guys. because some women like to, okay, let me first move this comment so that we can see it. Give me 1 second. Okay, guys. So you should be able to see what I put up here. So with this wiki bio on Sherelle, it says that Sherelle is black. So I'm not really sure what her nationality is. Um, but I just wanted to point that out because I know some women like to, use the black card, i.e. Cardi B, when it's convenient for them. So I'm not sure, what her nationality is, but according to her last name, it sounds like she's Latino. And I don't care who you decide to date, that's all on you. But I'm just elaborating on Winter's point. And Aries Girl said, if the internet didn't lie to me, her mom is black and her dad is Hispanic. Okay, gotcha. And Q Catrice said Sherelle's mom is black and her father is white. Oh, okay. So let me go ahead and move that. So at this point, we don't know exactly what Sherelle is. Oh, okay. So she said she meant Hispanic. Okay, so she's mixed. Hmm. Gotcha. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about before I get out of here is I just wanted to show you guys their podcast. And even though I think that Ashley and Sherelle are mean girls, the reason why I wanted to show this is because immediately before or right after this show was going to air on Netflix, these girls went live with their podcast. And it could have been one that, went over from the Tampa show, but this is the way you put your name out there when you on reality TV because these shows are not going to be around forever. And I feel like if Tisha, Kimmy, and Destiny had a done something like this to further their coins after this show is over, at this point, they could have had something good going right now. But they chose to depend solely on this show and solely on their husbands, okay, to make the money. So now they find themselves that, in a position where this show might be canceled or they might not even be asked to come back if it's not canceled, but they haven't done anything for the entire 9 years that they've been on the show. I take that back. They haven't done anything that has been successful. Let me say that. So now they're basically back to square one. And this has been a total waste because they have not accomplished anything by being on this show for 9 seasons. And it's ridiculous. But these girls, show is definitely going to elevate them even more so than they are already. And I remember saying something about Sherelle, um, being with Ocho Cinco because of his money, but I have since heard, and I don't know how true this is, that she actually makes more money than Ocho Cinco. So Sherelle is actually doing, really well for herself, which is probably why she hasn't married Ocho Cinco. So, and Aries says, of course she is wearing Daisy Dukes. Okay. She thinks she is fine as wine. You can't tell Sherelle that she is not fine, you know, and that she's not that it girl. So guys, I'm going to end this recap here. We still got a lot to talk about. This is just season 1 and I'm trying to ease myself cuz this is another large cast that I have to get to know everybody. It's easy to just watch the show, but when you have to recap a show, you have to know all of the players, you have to get to know their personalities and things like that. So, it takes a lot, when you're first introducing a show. Hey, Leo, thank you so much for being here. And she says, I'm late. I will watch the replay. I definitely agree with Winter's tweet. Sherelle is a mean girl and very judgmental of other women. Sad. So sad, Leo. And thank you so much. And I appreciate you watching the replay. And Aries Girl said, thanks for the show recommendation. I enjoyed it because of you. Awesome, awesome, Aries Girl. So I know you have to finish up. And guys, I have to finish up as well. I did not watch all of the episodes. And Cucatrice says, thank you for the recap. I enjoyed it. Thank you, Cucatrice, for being here. I really appreciate you guys. And if you have not done so already, ladies, please like this video on your way out. And if you have not done so already, subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. And if you're catching the replay, do the same, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye for now.